How it goes. Hi, everybody. Happy March 4th. Today's the last day of the Tiger Month. Interestingly enough, it's a leap year. Interesting how that always falls on an election year. I wonder if that energetically does anything to all of us as a society, as a humanity, at least for us here in the US. People are still trickling in, so I'm gonna take a couple minutes and just get them in here. So we're here going to talk about rabbit hunt. Please mute yourselves. In case you've missed the previous talks, all of these talks are uploaded on my YouTube channel on Feng Shui by Jen. I started converting these monthly forecast talks from a blog format to a video format. I started in August of 2022. You can go all the way back from that time to watch some of the previous episodes. Ideally, for now, if you're just joining us for the first time, I would suggest that you at least get the Chinese New Year recording for the Year of the Dragon to get you all set up for 2024. And then perhaps look at the December talk and the rat month to kind of help you decompress, close out 2023, and then you have the 2024 talk to kind of prep you for the beginning of the year, and then follow along with these monthly talks. So you can find all of that resources for free on my YouTube channel. Where to get a copy of the Chinese New Year talk, you can go on my website to purchase this. We had the event here in January. The talk is still very much relevant, even though we're already into March or just barely starting March. It's still very much relevant because it has all the tips for 2024 when it comes to the feng shui of your house for the year, the general theme of the year, and just getting ourselves ready, right? Preparation is a good thing. Preparation is not to be feared. Actually, you're fully equipped with all the knowledge and the power to do what is necessary to get yourself set up for the best possible year. All right, let's see. There's more people coming in. So I'm just getting them in here. All right. So here we are. March 5th, mañana. We start tomorrow, which is the month of the rabbit. For all of those who are not familiar with BaZi, BaZi always comes in two pairs, like two characters. We call it the heavens and the earthly branches. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Are still tuning in here. Please mute yourselves. Okay. All right. So for the month of March, which we officially begins on the 5th until April 4th, again, I explain all of this based on the calendar system and the New Year talk. This year, the combination is Yin Fire Rabbit. Okay, so the heavenly stem, meaning the character on top, is Yin Fire. The character on the bottom, which is, we call it the earthly branch, and the earthly branch is always the animal signs. So month of March is always the rabbit month, but sometimes it's a water rabbit, meadow rabbit, wood rabbit. Okay, it's a different kind of element type of month, but this month is fire rabbit. Okay, so let's dissect what this means here for a second. Yin fire, we often say it's like a candle. So when you look at the image of a candle, particularly the flame on the candle, inside the flame, you can see that probably the hottest part of the fire, it turns blue, or it has a kind of hole through the flame. And the Yin Fire Chinese character very much looks like what we call an atomic bomb, kind of like the cloud plume up on the top. And so we say Yin Fire is like a candle, even though it's yin. It's not necessarily a timid element. It's not a soft, feminine element. Yin fire just simply means it's like a candle or a spark. Remember when you're, getting ready to light a candle with a match, you have that spark. So yin fire is actually incredibly powerful because the spark can either be the spark to create warmth, right? Like in a bonfire, to give warmth to the people around, right? A simple spark of fire can be a matter of life and death when you're in a survival mode out in the jungle, for instance. But also a spark of fire can be the beginning of a massive explosion, for example. So that's why we say the yin fire characteristic can be very volatile, unpredictable. So when we look at people who were born on a yin fire day, so what do we mean by that? We say your day master is like a yin fire, right? So you have to look at your BaZi chart and you have to see what is my day element. If you know this and you know that you're yin fire means you're an incredibly warm-hearted person. You're generally a heart-centered person. So everything that you do in life comes from the heart space. The one thing that's slightly different between BaZi and Chinese medicine is that in BaZi, we say yin fire is also the eyes, okay, like their eyeballs. And so it's how you see the world. What are you consuming? You're consuming information or you're receiving data from your environment, from the things that you see. It's through your eyesight, your vision. And so a lot of yin fire people are also very creative. They embody beauty. If you are born in the summertime or in the springtime, you actually are very humorous. You're a good humored person. You have a nice sense of humor. A lot of comedians, a lot of like comedy writers or actors and actresses that plays comedy, particularly that's what they're known for, are usually a yin fire person. People who are singers that sing heartfelt songs and full of emotions, kind of like that sexiness and that romance. They're also a yin fire kind of person. But again, yin fire people can show volatility because they also exhibit the moodiness. They are very particular. They're more sensitive and sentimental. And so I'm describing to you what a person would be like, which you can translate to say, what would that mean energetically for the month of March? So the month of March, right, we're saying, oh, it's good humor. We're all probably feeling good, like we're in a good momentum, steady, strong, lots of energy. We can look at our environment with beauty and optimism, but there's a volatility to this good humoredness kind of a month. And so remember what I said in the Chinese New Year talk about the dragon. The key point here is to be grounded. We have to stay grounded, but that term groundedness is so abstract. It's like grounded what? Grounded hamburger or grounded money? What is that? We have to really ask ourselves, what is the one constant thing in our life that remains always, no matter what, right? Because money comes and goes, okay? Relationships experience their ups and downs. Even our health, we are healthy, we're not healthy, we're sick, we're healthy, and we're in pain, we're not in pain, right? Those things are continuously changing. And so therefore, we cannot place our full reliance on those kinds of things to say, oh, I'm grounded. Where I'm grounded in what? I can't be grounded in money because money comes and goes. I can't be grounded in my spouse, although it's a good thing if you can, but even your spouse can have a bad day, right? So if your spouse has a bad day and they say the wrong thing and then they react to you, then it can temper your mood, right? And sort of how you show up and how you react to the day or to the month. And so you really have to ask yourself, all right, what is it? What is it in my life that is the steady force that doesn't change? And everyone's answer is going to be different, okay? But I reiterate the message of groundedness, especially now and as we get ready for April, which is the dragon month. And because we know that the month can bring volatility, and so we don't want our emotions to be up and down and sideways and this and that, okay? So if you have a strong spiritual practice, I go back to that, this is the time to up the ante. There is no more excuses. I'm busy, I'm tired, I got too many things going on. You have to look at your spiritual practice, your interior life, particularly in 2024, similarly to how you would brush your teeth every day, right? We make no excuses. We make sure we brush our teeth. Because why? That's a habit instilled in us when we were little, right? And it's a habit we continued into our adulthood. We don't interact, go out to the public without brushing our teeth. Well, you have to ask yourself, have I done consistently my spiritual work that I make zero excuses for, no justification, no apologies, right? Is it something that I do at the beginning of the day to set the tone, the theme, the mood for my day? Or is it something I do at the end of the day as I decompress and give gratitude to my day and help me to release, all that magnanimous, energetic, volatile, up and down, lots of moving part energy of my day. So these are things to ask yourself. And these have been the consistent theme that I've been coaching a lot of my clients in the last 10 weeks. It is a recurring theme, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that, okay? And then we'll move on. Now we go to the rabbit. Well, guys, we just finished the rabbit year, which was 2023, right? And now here we are. We are returning into the rabbit month. The rabbit, we say, is a yin wood element like a flower, okay? We call it a pure element, meaning there's nothing else hidden inside. Every earthly branch, when you learn BaZi more technically, has a lot of different elements hidden inside. We call it the hidden stems. There's different elements that make up that particular sign. But this rabbit sign is pure. It only has yin wood, okay? It is like the strongest vine or the strongest piece of wood that's not mixed with moisture and moss and other things in it, okay? It's just pure wood. It also symbolizes the height of the spring season, the peak of it, when everything has come alive. That's why we say it's the full expression of springtime, okay? And so March is generally the most ideal time for us to birth projects, right? It's a time for growth and birth and renewal and launching and expanding and kind of embracing our creativity. I'm going to decompress for a second here. So here in America, at least November and December of every year is usually our busiest holiday time, right? When we're running around, socializing, being with family, and kind of, just the energy is very amped, all right? And then we move into January, according to the Gregorian calendar, which is when everyone starts to freak out with their New Year's resolution and all the things that they have to, keep up with because they procrastinated because of the holidays. So everyone's freaking out. There's all these spastic energy, oh my gosh, it's the new year. I got to launch. I got to do all these things, all the things I didn't get to do in the previous years, which unfortunately does our energy bodies a number, because November, December, and January are technically the winter season. And the winter season means death, means hibernation. When all the animals are hibernating, they're all pregnant, they're fat, they've eaten everything that they can eat, and then they're all sleeping through the winter time. Mother Nature herself has also completed a full cycle. Everything is dead, is dying, has gone into the grave. And here we are as humans. Well, we're also members of nature, and very much so, right? And everything that we do is energetically connected. We're going the opposite. We're killing ourselves because we are in a yang environment when we should be in the yin phase. And so that continues into January. And I see so much sickness, right? That happens with people's mental health as well as their physical health. Okay, one thing leads to another. And then here we come into the spring season with the arrival of the new year, the new animal year, which is February. And then now we're going into the height of the springtime. This is a time when everything should be birthing. There's so many people exhausted, like on the floor, tired, because they have not taken advantage of the downtime that they needed to replenish their energy, to allow inspiration to come down and to reignite their passion and excitement and desire. And so usually by like February, March, people are literally like walking around like zombies. And so you ask yourself, and I always give spiritual homework. So one thing is, what am I grounding myself with that doesn't change? Second, what's my spiritual practice? And can I keep that consistently in my life? And the third thing is, am I tired? Am I in a state energetically where I have a clear mind, I have a clear sense of direction of where I need to be? Or am I finding myself dreaming of taking naps because I'm just so tired? My brain is foggy, my body doesn't want to cooperate. This is a beautiful time to tune in and say what's going on, right? And we've just barely started the dragon year. So let's move on, Because this in the 5 element cycle, wood supports fire. This candle, like I said, the spark, meaning the spark for inspiration is very strong this month. Your dreams might be very vivid. You might be very attuned to your intuition. You're getting ideas and hits, more frequently than usual. Or that spark can be what I said, like the explosion or the nuclear bomb, which is the opposite of creativity, of forward moving momentum, of expansion, right? This is when burnout begins to show its face, okay? So we really want to pay attention to that. The elements for fire and wood, according to Chinese philosophy, is joy and anger, which these are kind of two interesting but interrelated elements. As you can see in the 5 element cycle, we're really right here, wood and fire. Okay, so we'll talk about that here in a sec. So what's the theme, the general theme of this month? Well, we want to follow the rhythm of the season, right? So springtime, imagine this, wherever you are in the world listening to this. Flowers have fully bloomed, the trees are lush and green, and animals are having babies. We call it the cycle of creation. When you think about what you're doing in your life, whether you're a small business owner, whether you work for a company, you're in a team setting, or you're a stay-at-home mom and you're taking care of your children, what is it that you're doing in your life that kind of mimics the theme of this springtime merriment? What is it that I am birthing and contributing in my home life or in my work life, right? In my friendship circle, in my community, right? This is when energetically it demands a lot from us, okay? This is a season that also illuminates the way for the future. Because remember, it's that yin fire is really bright, 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 right? And it's also related to our eyes. So do we see our future brightly, right? We got to ask ourselves, or am I having a really hard time seeing past next week? Or am I having a really hard time seeing past next year, right? Or do I really feel so inspired and clear and excited and enthusiastic about what's ahead of me, okay? These are beautiful check-in questions to ask yourself, beautiful things to meditate and pray on. The rabbit also, the theme is to rise above the fray. There's a lot of chaotic energy, especially with the dragon. And then the dragon's going to double up next month. There's a lot of spastic energy, a lot of noise and distraction. And again, it's going to challenge us how we calmly and coolly collect ourselves energetically, and how are we going to ground ourselves. So rising above the fray, right? Our spiritual practice is the only thing that's going to be the tool for us to discern what belongs to me and what doesn't belong to me, okay? This is also a time to regain a deeper vision, to kind of recalibrate, like maybe I did put that vision board up in January, which I always kind of semi-laugh at because January is technically the old energy of the last year, but hey, I digress. If you did put something down in your journal or you have a vision board in January, March is a beautiful time to just recalibrate that and say, does it still apply to me? Does it still look good? Does it still feel right? Am I on the right track? Or is this the time for me to make some adjustments? How can I tweak it? What strategies do I need to put in place to kind of recalibrate that a bit? The rabbit month, Springtime is also a very action-oriented month. This is not sleepy time, okay? This is not procrastinating time. This is a time for us to be like solutioners. I call this solutioners, the fixers, okay? It's a time to identify where are the gaps in my life, you know, in my work, in my relationships. This is a time to apply the solutions so that we can make positive changes, okay? That's what March is going to demand from us. And quite truthfully, I would say that it is imperative for us to be able to do that in the next 4 weeks, at least get things in motion, because we want to be in the best possible position before the dragon month arrives next month, okay, on April 4th. Again, that's a topic for a different talk, but everything I'm telling you here is to get you ready for that, okay? So the sooner you can identify and place solutions, recommendations, kind of set things in motion so you can make positive changes, you will be in a much better shape. Now, another thing that we said about the emotion of wood is anger, okay? It can be irritable. Like we can be irritable, we can feel a little anxious, kind of unsettled nerves, sort of that restless energy. So I just want to remind you to be mindful of those emotions, particularly if you're feeling impatient, you're kind of antsy, you're a control freak and you want certain things to look a certain way when it happens for you. Just temper that, you know, acknowledge that, but temper it, give it a little acknowledgement, but then let it go, because we don't want that emotion, those emotions to overshadow the work that you've already done so far, okay? So here are some words to meditate on this month. If you are into meditation, want some guided meditations, I always like to give some words for people to think about or to journal about. Embodiment is a beautiful word for the month of March, which was the word I used for 2023. You know, embodiment is not for children, you know, embodiment is for adults who've done the work, right? And that's where wisdom comes in, because embodiment is not practice. Like I'm practicing to be compassionate. I'm practicing to be patient. You know, when we're practicing, it's good because we're trying to attain a particular virtue, you know, that we want in our lives. You know, that's a value that we cherish. But embodiment just simply means it is like you are, right? So whatever your goals are, or a skill set, or a word, or a virtue that you've been working on, I think March is a beautiful time to kind of drop in and say, am I embodying that virtue or that value in the way that I do business, in the way that I communicate in my relationships, the way that I show up for my friends and for my family, right? What is that? How is embodiment, you know, a reflection in my life? Expression, this is a beautiful time to speak your truth, of course, with love. Don't just like spout out and vomit those words, but expression is a beautiful time to communicate, have a beautiful heart-to-heart talk, beautiful time to sing or to create, right? Whatever your creative expression might be, to tap into that creativity is really important. And the enjoyment, you know, March, springtime, everything is so beautiful. It's kind of like Mother Earth at her full glory, you know, of how Mother Nature comes alive. And so this is also a period of enjoyment, asking yourself, what do I enjoy about my life? You know, am I taking the time to enjoy them by myself, or how am I taking the time to enjoy that with other people? Okay. Want to talk about some health stuff. So yin wood in our BaZi study with Chinese medicine is related to the small bones, okay, like fingers, right, our wrists, toes, things like that. But it's also related to the tendons and the ligaments, kind of everything that glues everything together in the body. From an organ perspective, it is the gallbladder and the liver. Some people will experience these kinds of symptoms because they might have the seasonal impact of spring, which creates headaches. Like some people get migraines, maybe you have dizziness, because again, this is related to the eyes. You might get eye floaters, all right, blurred vision. You might feel a little bit more tired than usual. muscle tightness and aches and pains and things like that. Okay, so these are just some things to pay attention to. If you are experiencing this more than usual, then obviously get your BaZi done because it's more specific to you. But if you're also experiencing this more than usual, it's a telltale sign that perhaps the season of spring, meaning the wood element, might be creating some imbalances in your BaZi chart, which is your personal energy, that you may have to pay special attention to. Okay. The food for the springtime is sour. That's the taste bud, sour. So it's good to eat with spring. The foods of spring season, including fermented foods, anything tonic related like apple cider vinegar, tarty fruits, citrus like lemon and lime, things of that nature. Again, don't go overboard. You know, if it's going to give you a tummy ache, don't do that. But we do want to incorporate some of these tastes into our diet, particularly to stay in the season. Now, we also want to do some physical movement to take care of the limbs, which is our external extremities, our arms and our legs, including the back, which is our spinal cord as well. And so ideally, if you can pick something, you should do some stretches, okay? Some people will say, well, Jenna, go for a walk. Well, great, but do you actually stretch your hamstring? Do you stretch your calves, right? Some people will say, well, you know, I like to, I don't know, go rowing or something like that. Again, awesome, but do you actually stretch the muscles? Do you stretch the tendons, etc.? So we really want to emphasize on stretching, okay? That's the theme of Yin Wood. All right, so we want to also pay attention to the emotional impact of the rabbit month. If you are stepping into the rabbit month starting tomorrow, you know, feeling very even-tempered. What does that mean, even-tempered? It means I can handle my emotions, you know, whether I'm angry or I'm excited. I have a very adapted and balanced way of sort of navigating these emotions. I don't get super triggered, you know, either super triggered, annoyed, or super triggered, like happy. We just want to be even, you know, like want to be Buddha, okay? Just very even tempered. We don't want to be up and down, up and down. Please avoid doing this, okay? Because that's not going to be very healthy going into the month of the dragon. We are very much an action-oriented kind of, you know, mindset going into March. Like, I want to get this done, and I'm going to get that done, and I have plans to get this done, this done. And trust me, you know, if you've been following me for a while, sometimes I tell people to stop. Sometimes I tell people to take a step back, be patient, not yet the right time, you know, hang back. But this month is not that. This month is all about laying out the plan and going for it, okay? And there's also a healthy dose of risk-taking, all right? If you're the kind of person that likes to feel safe and always playing safe, being inside a box, and because it's your territory that you're familiar with, well, I suggest that perhaps you should kind of push yourself out just a little bit to be a little bit on your edge. It's a good time to challenge yourself to do something you haven't done and to feel that aliveness in your body. It's worth it, okay? And then obviously the negative traits of the wood element can show up very differently for some people. Some people can be very passive, and the passive traits can be, they're very anxious and very timid. Like these people want to isolate themselves. They say no to social activity. They're just kind of like, you know, in their own little world and just withdrawn, okay? Withdrawn from reality or withdrawn from showing up in life, okay? And then some people are very much the opposite of passivity, where they become very combative. They're aggressive, you know, they have more aggression. They're very vocal, but in a violent kind of way. And so we just want to pay attention to these outbursts of emotions. And like I said, the theme is just to be as even-tempered as possible. All right. Now, there are some at-home acupressure points that you can do if you're starting to like, oh my gosh, there's like eye floaters, extra eye floaters, or you know, I have a headache, for example, or maybe I'm starting to feel aches and pains. There are a lot of acupressure points that you can do. This is just a summary. You can look this up online, or you can connect with an acupuncture to learn some tips and tricks that you can implement yourself at home. Ideally, these would go better if you do accompany it with acupuncture and other types of natural medicine to supplement for any of these things that might be manifesting in your physical body this month. Okay. All right. Clash. Let's talk about clash. Anyone that has a rooster sign in their BaZi chart, the month of the rabbit is your clash. And guess what, guys? If you had a clash in March, if you had a clash in 2023, which was last year, that means this month is also a clash. So if you're born in the year, the month, the day, or the time of clash, that means this is the period of change, all right? But might be mini change, not because it's just the month, not for the whole year. Again, out of these four, the day clash is much, much more serious because the day impacts the whole household, right? Your house of treasure. So again, there's no formula for coming up with the day. You actually have to look at your BaZi chart to see if you have a rooster sign. So what are some things to pay attention to with the rabbit and rooster clash if this applies to you? I have a lot of clients and students that have their loved ones I was going to say clash cards. They have their loved ones' BaZi charts as well, because they also want to know, oh, how's my spouse, how's my kids, how's my business partner, et cetera, going to be impacted by this? Well, because the rabbit and the rooster are technically called peach blossom stars. Peach blossom is all about relationships. And because this is a clash, two peach blossom stars are clashing. This is going to impact relationships this month, okay? So what does that mean? Well, there could be friction, there could be tension, there could be miscommunication. And this isn't just related to romance, like your spouse or your boyfriend, girlfriend, or something like this, but it's any relationships, right? You can have friction and tension and miscommunication in any of those relationships. But it is a beautiful time to look at clash as a time to kind of strengthen those relationships. Oftentimes what I see with clash is anything that was hidden, you know, like either on purpose, like a secret hidden, or it just wasn't addressed. You know, there's nothing malicious about it. When a clash happens, it means it brings things to light. It brings things to the surface. So if there was something hidden, like a secret, it will come out, okay? It will come out like, oh my gosh, like you talked behind my back about this person, or something that was swept under the rug, kind of like, oh, no big deal. That was a misunderstanding a long time ago, whatever. It can come up to the surface, and then it gives you the opportunity to readdress that situation, to clear the way, right? And to re-strengthen that relationship. So clash is not always a bad thing, okay? I know I talked about this so many times, but clash is not always a bad thing. Clash is an essential ingredient for growth. So if you're the kind of person that says, Jen, I love change, I love to grow, I'm always learning and growing, well, then you should be excited about clash, okay? Because that is the instrument for growth. Now, the growth in March is related to relationships, okay? Each other, okay? Your closest circle. And so when misunderstandings happen, when there's tension that happens, don't shy away from expressing yourself this month so that it can illuminate the way for you in the future. I've seen people in clashes break up, okay, like the ending of a friendship or the ending of a romantic relationship. But sometimes some things need to end. And when endings happen, they happen in a clash, meaning that door could be closed. But when one door closes, another one opens, okay? You kind of clear the way, purging. Clash is also a beautiful time to release, to kind of move things along so that new things can happen. Okay. So that's what I'm going to say about relationships. The physical body, yes, we will have clashes to the physical body. Like we can hurt ourselves, like, oh, I pulled a muscle, or, oh, I sprained a pinky, or I hurt my back, or my neck hurts, or whatever the ailments are with the body. This can happen with the clash. Okay. Clash, it invites kind of busyness, chaos, turbulence energetically. There's more disruptions. Things happen out of nowhere, unplanned things, unexpected things can pop up, little mishaps, accidents, change of direction, things like that. That's just part of life, but sometimes they are more intense, particularly if you have a clash this month. So that clash energy is more amplified, if you will. And so that's why I say, if you have a clash, it's really good to just be flexible. Don't be a control freak, right? Because if we're always trying to control something, the clash will only make it more forceful. Okay. So just learn to, keep up with your task, but then the rest, you just kind of move and let it flow. Okay. And trust the process. I promise you, your mental health will be so much better if you're able to adapt that way. If you have a clash this month, I want you to think about 2023, because 2023 would have been a little bit of a telltale sign to what March will be. So if you looked at last year, you're like, oh my gosh, I moved houses, I got married, I had a baby, I changed jobs, I got into an argument with some folks, cleared the way, whatever your story is for 2023. Just think there's a mini version of it this month for you, but there's nothing to fear because you already survived 2023 and you have the experience and the wisdom to know how to better navigate this little mini clash. Okay, that's how we use BaZi to help us understand how energy impacts us, and for us to make a conscious decision how we choose to navigate with these kinds of energy. I want to tell a story. This is Charlize Theron. She's a South African actress. I think a lot of you know who she is, but she has the perfect example of the rabbit rooster clash that I can probably use as an example for all of you. So Charlize Theron was born on a Yinwood day, okay, like a flower. Okay, so she grew up, she was a ballerina, played, very flexible body, long body, very beautiful woman, Yinwood, right? And you can see that she was already born with a clash. She was born in the year of the rabbit and on the day of the rooster. So inside her BaZi chart, she already has a clash, okay? So this clash is forever, but it remains dormant until something activates it, okay? So what happened? Well, when you look at her luck, right? This is the luck cycle, the 10-year cycle. She started at age 0. So every 10 years, she changes luck, okay? Again, this is just me talking BaZi very, very quickly. When she turned 10 years old, 10, so from the age 10 to 20, she entered into the luck of the rooster, okay? So that means this rooster is going to clash to that rabbit for 10 years, okay? So that would be from age 10 to 20. Just looking at her bio, you see she left home to go and study at a boarding school, left home as a child, left home, right? So already the life is dynamic because it's a big change, big travel. You don't get to stay home. You get to go away for school, right? And then when she was 16 years old, her mother killed her father because he was a very violent, abusive man, and she shot him to defend herself. And she's since been cleared of all, wrongdoings or whatever. But that was a traumatizing event, right? For not only did you lose a parent, but your other parent shot and killed your other parent, right? So big clash, big, right? And then also at that age, she moved from South Africa to Italy to study dance, to dance in a ballet company, okay? Again, clash. When we talk about clash, change job, change career, travel, move around, change house, get married, get divorced, all the things, that's what clash is, but it's so huge because she had it for 10 years. And then almost at the end of this luck, she finally made one last move, and she moved to LA, right? She moved to Hollywood to try to pursue a career in acting, okay? So that's the clash, all right? So don't be afraid of clash, but yes, clash can be the harbinger of everything, right? Of discomfort, of uncertainty, of changes beyond your control, changes that you can control, changes that you can't control, right? So looking at these people's lives, like, oh my gosh, that's what happened, okay? We all go through a different season. And then when she turned 20, for those of you who followed the annual talk, the dog dragon, so she was born in the hour of the dragon. So she has a dragon sign. And so when she was 20 to 30, she entered into the luck of the dog. The dog and the dragon is another clash, okay? So she literally had 20 years of clash, right? So even when you look at her 20s, that was when she had her breakout role, right? She Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves and what's his name? Al Pacino, right? She was an unknown. And then from there made a whole slew of different movies. But this was a very difficult time, huh? This was a very difficult time because the dog dragon against a very spiritual clash. She had to really learn about who she is and how she wanted to show up, make a name for herself. She had to drop her accent so that people can understand her, so she can play roles, right, with an American accent. It's a very trying time, but getting a lot of stuff done, making a lot of progress. And then you see in her 30s and 40s, I think I put the smiley faces in here because the luck, after she finished this decade, she entered into the luck of water. And water is her number one favorable element. It's the best element. Just imagine she is a flower born in the summertime. She's very dry, very parched kind of flower. And finally, the water comes to her. It comes to her. This is not us drinking water and, looking at water in the ocean. This is destiny. Destiny shows up with a lot of water. And so she was able to take a hiatus. She was able to enjoy life, to adopt babies, to enjoy her fame and her fortune, to do more activism work. She doesn't have to fight as hard, work as hard, need to prove herself so much. There's something here that became more comfortable, more easeful, right? So that's just an example of how we are able to look at the season of life, the ups and the downs. How do we manage the clashes, right? And because Charlize Theron, like I said, was born with a clash, she was prone to injuries a lot. And she is known to do stunts, her own stunts in movies, because she's very flexible and has she's able to do choreography. But she almost ended her career making this movie. She had a herniated disc in Atomic Blonde, in Tully, in The Old Guard. She always had injuries in her body. So I guess if I were consulting with her, I would say, maybe just let the stunt double, the stunt person do all your rather than you doing all your stunt work, because she is very much prone to these kinds of accidents because she has that clash. Okay, I'm done. All right, so moving on to the next one. Okay, March is your peach blossom month. Okay, peach blossom. If you were born in the year of the tiger, horse, or dog, or if you look at your BaZi chart, you are born on the day of tiger, horse, or dog. If you have these signs in your year or your day, then March is your peach blossom month. And what does that mean? It's an excellent time for you to do people building activities, meaning to go out there and connect, right? If you are in a romantic relationship, this is a time to really kind of prioritize your home life, kind of going on date nights or coming together to reassess your goals as a couple. What is it that you want in your marriage, in your relationship? If you're a business owner, it's a beautiful time to get more publicity, okay? To network, to be out in community, finding more opportunities to speak, to show off, showcase, what it is that you're trying to sell or share with the public, okay? So it's a very extroverted time. Use this energy to what? To make progress, okay? To get things moving along. Call up that person and have a coffee date, okay? Say yes to that women's networking event that you're dreading to go, but it's your peach blossom. You got to do it. Cooperate with the element. It's not trying to go against you. We humans are always in our own way, okay? So we can look at BaZi as a tool to help us understand, when am I being stretched out of my comfort zone? And when is it for me to stay safe, okay? So peach blossom, don't forget that. Now, one of the things that we do want to pay attention to with the rabbit, it also creates this energy called relationship penalty. What does that mean? Penalty means punishment. And this happens with people who have the rat sign in their chart, okay? So you can kind of follow this bullet point and assess, do I have a rat sign in my BaZi chart? Because if you do, that means, again, the rat and the rabbit are peach blossom energy. When they connect, what happens is it creates the opposite of love, okay? Relationship penalty is when we feel the opposite of love. That means hate, right? The ugly side of relationships. So this is when we feel resentment, when we're really let down, we feel betrayed. This is more than just miscommunication. This is like a backlash, okay? Miscommunication happens, right? But this is a backlash. This is from someone you trusted, someone you relied upon, okay? So a lot of broken promises, a lot of like more, what do you call this? Like manipulation really comes out. Abuse, and abuse can be verbal, emotional, spiritual, okay? And there's also the physical and sexual abuse that can also happen. I have some clients, many clients, including a lot of BaZi examples, when there's a rat-rabbit kind of dynamic in their BaZi chart, there's a lot of abuse that happen, okay? Particularly if you're born with that. I don't have time to go through all of those examples, but I wanted to just show you, I'm going to come back to this slide, but I wanted to show you an example. So here's Sandra Bullock, okay? She was born on the day of the rat, okay? I don't know what happened to my format here, but she was born on the day of the rat. So she has a rat, just one rat, okay? Rat. That means her whole destiny, she's just waiting for the rabbit to create this relationship penalty. That means Sandra Bullock this month, starting the rabbit month, she will have a relationship penalty for the month. So look at her destiny, huh? Oh, I don't know why that says 6. Maybe I'm going to correct that really quick. So she started at 6, 16, 26, 36. So you look, when she turned 36 to 46 years old, she entered into the luck of the rabbit. Okay, so this is 10 years of relationship penalty, okay, or relationship punishment. So what the heck happened between the age 36 to 46? Did you know that she had not just one stalker, but she had multiple stalkers, like crazy fans? And I'm talking like crazy. These are crazy who were breaking inside her house, like laying in front of her lawn. She had to call the police, restraining orders, people who were literally disrupting her life. Relationship penalty. This was also the time, because it's peach blossom, it's about love. And how many times have we known this? Love doesn't, we get married doesn't mean it's always a happy one, okay? Just like we start a business doesn't mean it's always successful, all right? So she got married during her relationship penalty. So this is why I always tell people, I'm like, oh, I know you're gonna meet someone, but can we just slow down? Can we just hang back for a second? Can we give it a little bit of time, right? Because that peach blossom energy is very strong. We feel very sexual. We feel very, attracted. We get all those emotions, but we don't understand that there's something underlying with that energy. So she got married, right? She's never been married before. She's dated a lot of actors, you know, in her time, but she marries this man at 41. And this was also the time which literally happened towards the very end of this luck when she was 45. She was about to turn 46, in fact. January, February, March, April of 2010. At the very tail end of this relationship penalty was when all that marital scandal came out about Jesse James and prostitutes and cheating and this and that and all the ugliness that comes with the opposite of love, and ended up getting divorced. Okay, so that's what happened to Sandra Bullock. She seems like a nice gal. I don't know her, right? She's just being Sandra Bullock. But these things happen, okay? So then, how old is she now? She's like in her 50s. She's in this luck right now. So I don't know if you know this, but Sandra Bullock was in a long-term relationship, a low-key, non-celebrity partner for a long time, multiple years. Well, he died in the year of the rabbit, which was last year. So this was a partner that she was probably the first relationship since her marriage that she entered into that was fruitful, healthy, you know, all the things that you wish for. The gentleman, I forget his name now, he actually passed away last year from a sickness. Again, I didn't look into his chart, but it happened in the year of the rabbit because the year of the rabbit is also a relationship penalty. So this is just one example of 100 that I have, okay? So I'm just using these examples to give you all a heads up that if this applies to you, what are we gonna do? We're gonna have compassionate conversation, right? We're not gonna be going to the maladapted behavior of the wood element by raging and screaming and being irritable and super triggered. We're going to have compassionate conversation where we're going to be vulnerable and talk with each other in a calm, cool, collected way. We're going to admit fault when it is appropriate, right? Oh, I overreacted. I acted badly. I shouldn't have done this. I apologize, right? But the same thing is also to practice forgiveness, okay, when the other person is also seeking reconciliation. We also do not want to hold on to resentment. Again, this depends on what kind of behavior is being shown during the relationship penalty. But the theme of the springtime is also actually forgiveness, okay? We want to stay disciplined, but flexible, okay? Discipline what? Discipline in my values. Like, I want to be treated this way in friendships. I want to be treated this way in my romantic relationships, right? Saying discipline means I hold it steadfast, but I'm flexible. I'm flexible to say what? To hear you out, right? To have that compassionate conversation, to hear what you have to say. Hostility will kill you. Let it go, okay? Because again, there's a lot of energy charge here with that relationship penalty can cause. Look at 2020, year of COVID. That was a relationship penalty year, and that was a full display of relationships breaking down. You know, family members disowning each other because of politics, because of policies and procedures and what have you, communities divided, teachers against parents, parents against teachers, and I mean, full blown, right? Relationship penalty. So we're having a small little moment, okay, in March for us to pay attention to in our relationship. Patience is a virtue. Okay, if you're working on something, be patient, okay, but continue to have those conversations, manage your anger, and there's nothing wrong with asking for professional help to mediate the situation, depending on what it is again. Sometimes the mediation is a friend, you know, an objective friend that can hear both sides. Sometimes it is a counselor, if you're talking about your marriage, right? Or it could be BaZi, me, all right? I've done that a lot, actually, the last 10 weeks with couples, all right? Just to help one person understand the other energetically. It's like, what does my partner need, you know, in terms of support, and how can I be better? How can I, you know, show up differently for them during this difficult time? Okay, so moving on. All right, we're moving to Nobleman. Yes, March is angel month for those who were born in the years ending 2 or 3. Or if you look at your BaZi chart, the top character, it looks like this in Chinese. born in the year of yin water or the year of yang water, okay? Year or day of yin water or yang water. If you have this, that means March is your nobleman month. Yay. Hold on. I think people are submitting some questions. I'll come back to that here in a second. Angels all around. That means this is the most beautiful time to lean into your earth angels. Earth angels means people you know, your community, your friends, your website developer, your hairdresser, you know, people. And it's also a beautiful time to trust in the divine help. Okay. So do what you can yourself, leaning into other people to support you, and then the rest you give it to God. Okay, trust in your divine angels. This is also a beautiful time to launch new projects. Okay, if you have something cooking, send out a teaser if it's not ready. Okay, it's a great time to start connecting, you know, doing podcasts, like that kind of stuff, leaning into the support from others. Seeking medical treatments if you have some, what do you call this? Optional, is that a word? Optional treatment? I was gonna say cosmetic treatment, but it's optional. Anything, you know, that doesn't have to happen now, but good to have. March would be a good month for that. Again, if it's something a little bit more serious, please reach out and engage me on auspicious date selection, because that's more specific to your BaZi chart. But generally speaking, the month of March, if this is your nobleman month, it's good for these types of initiatives. And then organizing important meetings, you know, if you have a conference, a workshop, or a sales meeting or something like that, that you want to have extra good luck, right? Then March is also for that. And pay attention to the blessings in disguise. People always think nobleman means like rainbows and sunshines, like nothing happens. But remember that the elements can do many, many things. I wanted to put an example, one last example. This is actually a client of mine, where the rabbit is both a nobleman and a clash. Okay, so you can see she was born on the day of yang water. So Mart, the rabbit, is her nobleman, but she also has a rooster right here. So the rooster is also a clash. Okay, so this is a story from 2023, because 2023 was the rabbit year. What happened? What happened was she got sick. Clash, right? Unexpected thing. Well, she got sick, but she found it on time. She found it early, okay? She was diagnosed early. Nobleman. She was connected with the right doctor. She was able to get in and get the treatment and the support that she needed, okay? So, blessing in disguise. She's healthy now, okay? But at the time, clash, unexpected event, but everything was okay. Then she found out that her job security was changing. She was getting laid off, okay? Change, clash. But then she was given a whole year severance pay because of her term that she was with the company. Nobleman, you get money for a whole year. So during that year, not only did she have the time, the space, the resources, you know, the finances to get healthy, to go to all of her doctor treatments to get healthy, but she also had time for the first time in a long time to actually not hustle to work what she's been doing her whole entire career, but to actually focusing on fostering what she's passionate about, what she is creative on, you know, that she had time to write, she had time to spend time to enjoy her children and go to events that she otherwise wouldn't have been able to do because of her job. So this is reality. This is how nobleman and clash work. One animal sign can do many things, okay? So that's why you cannot, when you learn this properly, you cannot look at it like black and white, okay? It's very intricate. And what is a mystery to all of this is the person. You know, this person is very faith-based, very grounded. She generally has an optimistic outlook in life, okay? She's also physically healthy, right? So all of these things play into factor to how the rest of our life is going to transpire in these events, okay? So that's just one example. I am offering a workshop on BaZi, okay, on April 6th, okay, and it's going to be on Zoom. So, but we will not be recording anything because I don't like people's information to be shared online if we do start to exchange information online. So you can go on my website and register for this event, and we will dive a little bit deeper into BaZi. And I'm giving it one more attempt to offer the formal course on BaZi. This is very intense. This is the formal certification program that is going to be available on Zoom. There's going to be 14 sessions, so 14 days broken out. And it's going to be 42 hours, lots of exercises. Again, all this information is online, but this will be rolling out in October. Okay, so switching gears, I'm very aware of the time. We're almost done. We got to talk about Feng Shui. All right, so here is the Feng Shui chart for March. The big numbers here means the year, okay? So this big number is for 2024. You're going to ignore that because you would have by now already addressed those energies at the beginning of the year with the dragon, okay? So that's why you have to look at the Chinese New Year talk. The little numbers are the ones that's going to change every month, okay? So these are the monthly stars, and they are going to connect, okay, in different spots of the house, okay, based on the direction, and it's going to create a different kind of energy. So again, we want to pay attention to the two worst numbers, which is 5 and 2. So number 5 is going to be in the northwest side this month, okay, the rabbit month, northwest. And this kind of connection, 4 and 5, is again related to relationships, okay? So this is no bueno when it comes to relationship. Imagine if that was your bedroom or that was your home office, okay? So we don't want to leave that unattended, especially if you know your BaZi chart, if you have a clash or I have a relationship penalty, okay? So we need to cure that with a 6-metal rod wind chime. So you're going to have 2 sets of that. The second number that we don't like is number 2, because 2 is the sickness star and it's going to be in the east side, okay? And this kind of sickness is going to impact our adrenal, or we call it the kidney chi. This is our energy level, our adrenal, our focus, our decision-making area, the will, you know, when we suddenly find ourselves kind of despairing, why? I already did that, I don't care, you know, kind of lethargic, all right? Or we can't get out of bed. We're always sick with like a flu or a cold or something or another. This is the culprit for that kind of manifestation. So take a snapshot of this. I'm not going to go through every single one of them. And do not activate any of the good stars. If anyone is watching here that follow Flying Star Feng Shui or have studied it, do not activate the monthly star unless you can be 100% sure that you can actually activate it because you've done the feng shui of the house and you know the annual star, et cetera, okay? So for the lay people who are just following along, just follow this instruction between March 5th and April 4th, okay? All right. Again, these are the traditional cures. They're very small. In the Chinese New Year talk, I talked about them in more detail and given examples and also links on Amazon that I approve that you can go and purchase. I've written a book 10 years ago, still very relevant if you're interested in learning more. It's called The First Guidebook for Feng Shui Enthusiasts. You can email me to order, or you can go on Amazon to grab a copy. And we are doing the Feng Shui certification course in May. This has to be done in person because there's a lot of floor plan exercises and we have to learn the Feng Shui compass, which is what everybody is holding here. Lots and lots of real life case studies, haunted houses, prosperous houses, bad relationship houses, you name it. And all of these real life cases are from my clients with their names, of course, removed. But that will be held here in May. So again, go on my website if you're interested. And then save the dates. these are the dates for the next free monthly talks coming up. You do not want to miss April, which is the Dragon Month coming up. So we will be having them on Zoom consistently at 5 p.m. Arizona time. And now I will take questions. I think some people had questions. What if the rat is your peach blossom? Are you affected? Of course you are affected. It's your peach blossom and your relationship penalty. So it's like Sandra Bullock, right? So we just want to be very discerning. We want to be very aware of what we're saying yes to in our relationships and how are we connecting with them. Don't be paranoid, but trust your intuition, right? If this is a good relationship to invest in, or we need to have some energy boundaries between, if I am going to be connecting with new friends, etc. What time zone is it for April? It's always Arizona time. Okay. All right. My daughter, born in the year of the rabbit, has a rooster. She's no. Okay, Brenda, this very detailed question. She has no rooster in her luck pillar. No, the March will still be a clash because it's still gonna clash with the rabbit. Okay. And she has very similar to Charlize Theron because she already has an internal clash. Okay, meaning she has a clash in her BaZi chart that's dormant. So the rabbit months, the rooster months, anything rabbit rooster will activate that clash. Okay, because she's just, when you're born with it, you're born with it forever, right? And so it just lays dormant there. So anytime there's a rabbit, there's a clash, a rabbit rooster day, rabbit rooster month, rabbit rooster day, it's going to be a clash. And if she doesn't have it in her luck pillars, then she doesn't have it for 10 years. Not everybody has it, okay? But there's always a rabbit and rooster day. There's always a month, there's always a year. So the most significant impact for her is the year. If my work desk is in the east, should I move it? If you can. I don't. If it's just for 1 month, that's the whole point of putting the cure. I don't. I'm a very pragmatic person. I don't create upheaval if it's just 30 days. Okay. I might, however, change if it is for the year. Okay, which I've already done. I placed all the coins, wind chime, bamboo at the start of February just to confirm I'm okay to move things for March, impacting 2 and 5 only. Correct. Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay, if you haven't done your BaZi, better schedule. And if there's no more question, I will see you all next month. Happy, happy month of the rabbit. Joy, joy. See you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.